Hello? Hello, hello. Come on. Hello? Okay. No, you have to join the new stream that I've added, which is called, no, it is VNIT Entrepreneurship BMC class. Okay. So you can hear me? Yeah, I can see one viewer has come on. Is that you? But your stream has not come on. So you have you got my invitation, right, to SS Butt. I sent an invitation to SS Butt to this particular class. So he's got to accept it, accept the invite. Then so he's not. Yeah, I can see two viewers now. Okay. So so your link needs to come on. You can see me, right? So VNIT Entrepreneurship BMC class. I'm not seeing your video stream back. Okay, good. Okay. Now there's only one viewer. Yeah. Did you choose the right camera and did you choose the right microphone? No. On the screen, you'll see a setting at the top. If you move your mouse to the top, you'll see a setting. Right at the top. Yeah. Next to the red button. Yeah. So choose the Logitech. No, not Chrome setting. You just move the mouse on the screen near to the top of the screen. Next to the, yeah, you'll see invite and you'll see microphone, everything. So just it's the one next to the red telephone thing. If you accept the invite automatically, you should be able to start doing it. No? Exactly. So you have to basically go to the settings on the screen. Like move your mouse on the screen. Just move your mouse on the screen and there'll be a pop-up at the top of the screen. No, just move your mouse on the screen first. Okay, fine. You want me to send another invite? No, not in Skype. It'll come directly in. Yeah. You are in the right class, right? VNIT Entrepreneurship BMC class. Yeah, go to full screen, and then you take your mouse and just put it on the screen, and automatically the settings shows up as a black box on the top of the screen. If you move the just click on, just do a right click or something, or left click. Right, exactly. At the top of the screen, does it say Google plus Hangouts, Google Chrome? Correct. No, you don't want to do that. You want to, there should be a separate invite to join the Hangout. No, don't click on the email Hangout. Don't click on the email URL. That's only for viewers. That is not for you. So you should receive a separate invite. There should be a separate invite email that you should have got. Go into your Google Gmail. No, I've sent two emails. So I sent one, which is like just a Google Hangout YouTube link. I don't want you to click on that YouTube link. No, usko uda do. Just delete that. So there should, if you go to your Gmail account, and your Gmail account, there should be an invite on the right-hand side. If you go to Gmail account, you'll see new conversations, and you'll see one invite from me. So you click on, yeah, exactly. Now you'll be able to get in. Yeah, that's the one you got to get in on. You are going on through YouTube. So YouTube is like a one-way. So this way, yeah, now you'll see the control panel at the top and all that. Yeah, perfect. Abhi aa gaya. So this is one viewer has come on. Okay, there you come. You're coming on. Okay, perfect. Okay, there you are. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So वो mail की वजह से जा रहा था.
Okay, I can see your whole class. Awesome.
Oh, good. So
hello guys, how are you? Hello, sir. Okay, awesome. First class. Okay.
So is everybody sitting in groups? Their project groups?
Okay, great. And so Am I pretty clear? Can you hear me very clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. And are we ready to start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So, so basically, today we want to go ahead and understand, how you can figure out if your idea can help you build a good company, right? So there are lots of ideas that people can get, but the question is like, can your idea really help you build a good company? That is, very, very important for an entrepreneur. Lots and lots of uh, ideas come to entrepreneurs. Even when you're running your company, you'll get new ideas, and you have to figure out, like, what do you do with this new idea? So basically, there is a whole process that we are going to go through called the business model canvas. So business model canvas is the approach we are going to use in order to figure out if your idea can really result in a successful company. So I'm going to now put on uh, the slides themselves. So if you look at it, uh, every business really creates and delivers something that is useful to customers, and then the customers pay money for it, and that money needs to be higher than the cost of offering that service or product, so that now the business starts making a profit. So the goal of every business is to make a profit. Now, every business, it does not matter whether it's Flipkart, Facebook, Kirloskar Engines, or any business, has four main areas. And what you have to figure out is what are the four main areas in your uh, for your idea, how it's particularly how it's designed. And there is a million ways, maybe a billion ways in which all these four areas can be structured. So the four areas are customers, the people who are going to buy your product and use your product and enjoy your product, the offer or the product or the service and the value that you provide for that particular, for the customer. Infrastructure is basically all the things you have to do in order to get your offer out there. And then financial viability is, essentially the difference between revenue and cost. And the business model shows how these four areas interact with each other in order for the company to make money. So it's a blueprint of all the different ways uh, in which a company can be built in order to make money. And you'll find that even in the same business, for example, e-commerce, Amazon will have a certain business model, Flipkart will have a certain business model, Snapdeal will have a certain business model. So all the players in the same market providing the same product will have a business model that's slightly different. So the business model that Amazon might have might focus a lot on providing the lowest cost by discounting the heaviest. Snapdeal might have a business model where they want to provide instant delivery so that you get the product as soon as you order it, boom, in 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, the product is there. Or the business model for Flipkart might be best customer service, which means that we will help you to we will when we come we will demo you how the product is going to work. We are going to make it easy for you to pay the money for buying the product. If you have a problem with the product, we will go ahead and take the product back, but make it very easy. So this, even in the same business, you can have three companies that are going to use a different strategy in order to provide that service, and they want to use this different strategy because they think that's the way to make the maximum amount of money in that market segment. So with Amazon's business model, where they want to provide the maximum discount. Maybe they will need to sell a lot of product in order, because they're making very little profit per product. So they will have to go ahead and have ship a lot of product in order to make their money. But they believe that ultimately the cost conscious consumer is their market segment, and they believe that is the largest market segment. If you multiply the amount of money that is spent per year by different segments, that is the segment that they want to focus on. If you look at Snapdeal, it is the busy customer, the customer for whom time is a premium. So they believe that that is the very large segment, and they charge a little bit more money. So they will ship less product, but they make it up by, but they give the customer the service of quick delivery. While for Flipkart, the situation might be that, they have to have a big call center. They need to have a lot of people who are educated about how to use the product. And so they're spending a lot of money on providing good service. So they're going to charge a little bit of more money. And by charging a little bit more money, they are going to have to sell less product, but very profitable business. Okay? So you can see that there are, just a minute. So you can see that there are many different business models that in the same business can be followed by different companies, right? And every company, all three companies, as you can see, right now are very successful. Snapdeal is successful, Flipkart is successful, Amazon is obviously successful. So everybody is successful right now, but you can see that they are following very different business model strategies. Now the question is, what will happen in the long term? In the long term, there are going to be things that will happen in the business which will determine one company becoming the market leader, and the second company which will kind of have a reasonable amount of market share but not be the market leader, and then everybody after them will either break even or lose money. So what happens is that having the right business model and having the best understanding of market segments needs and unique requirements is basically the most important for an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur needs to be able to understand the subtleties of the market better than all the other customers. So moving on to the next slide. So what you'll see is that the same business model that we talked about, where a company has got 4 segments, is now broken up into 9 boxes. So all the customer related issues and activities are now broken up into box number 2, 4, and 3. Essentially, it's the customer segments, the customer relationship that the company has with the customer, and how the product is actually delivered through the channels. And then number 1 is the value proposition. So the product or service, you have to figure out what are the top 1, 2, or 3 values that the customer really cares about. And then finally, then on the left hand side, in boxes 6, 7, and 8, you have the infrastructure, which is the key activities. So if you're a manufacturing company, what are the machines, what are the workers, what are the supplies, what is the inventory? Those are the key activities. The key resources are, what is the capital that's invested in the factory, how many software engineers you're going to have, how many hardware engineers you're going to have. So those are the key resources. And nobody does the entire product preparation, product to developing the product themselves. nobody does the full thing. Even companies that are highly vertically integrated do not do. So everybody needs key partners. For example, even Reliance Petrochemical, which is a very highly vertically integrated company, still has to import the oil from Saudi Arabia. So they have got partners who provide them the oil. And if the key partner relationships are not very good, the cost will be high, the delivery of oil will be not reliable, and all of a sudden, the Reliance Petrochemical is going to have a hard time being successful in the marketplace because customers will see some shortages. They will see the cost going up because Saudi Arabia is charging too much money. So you'll see that key partner relationship also becomes very important. So all the activities on the right-hand side, which is the customer side, results in revenue. The more product you sell, the more price that the customers pay, and the less, the higher the transactions, more the revenue, right? So that's how you get the revenue. Multiply the amount of product you sell with the price and you get your revenue. On the left-hand side is your cost. How much does it make? How much does it cost to make a liter of petrol? How much does it cost to write a software application? How much does it cost in order to, you know, buy a share of stock? So basically, the cost structure is something that you know, has a lot of different parameters that feed into it. And so when you subtract the revenue, the cost structure from the revenue, you basically have your profit. So every company has to have these 9 boxes, and the beauty is that every company does it different. In some companies, a lot of focus on the customer. In other companies, a lot of focus on production. So if you look at Chinese companies, they focus a lot on production because they focus on cost, high volume. Yes, Shashi, just a minute. Yeah? Hello. Okay, I see 0 viewers. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so let's wait for a few minutes. Yeah. Okay. And how much did I present? How much did they hear? Okay, so I was they were on the BMC stuff. Okay, on the blue screen. Okay. Okay. So I'll wait. Let's see how it. Yeah. Let the internet come on. Yeah.
Sir, I'm sorry to disturb you, but I was looking for something that Dr. Rawal sent me for.
Huh?
Dr. Rawal, open up. They sent me to look for something.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
I could know.
Yeah.
You can hear me now, right?
Yeah. So Raj, you slow in terms of the video internet speed. So maybe let's try again. So you were on the topic of Reliance.
Okay, so I was talking about basically the business model canvas, and I was talking about the fact that even a company like Reliance, which is a highly vertically integrated company, still needs key partners. So the key partner for somebody like Reliance is the oil supply. Oil comes from Saudi Arabia, so, and from their partners in Saudi Arabia. If their relationship with their key partners is not very good, then the partner is going to keep the price high. He's not going to provide consistent product delivery, and all of a sudden the customers will start getting very upset because the cost of the petrol will go up and down, because the manufacturing cost of Reliance will go up and down. So you'll see that every company has to have these 9 components, and every company designs their business strategies, their processes, their systems slightly different, in depending on their understanding of how to maximize the return for their company in terms of the profit. And the profit can be by increasing the revenue or having a slightly less revenue but keeping the cost even lower. So basically the goal is to maximize profitability by playing with all the different parameters that you see in the 9 boxes. So Chinese companies, for example, focus completely on manufacturing, on the infrastructure side, because their goal is to provide the lowest cost with the largest quantity of production. So they focus mainly on 6, 7, and 8 because they believe that the customer will automatically buy something that costs less and is of good quantity, is available in good quantity for a good price. So that is their basic insight, that people are very cost conscious. There's a big portion of people who are very cost conscious, and that is going to be their strategy. So every company has its own strategy. Sometimes even a country might have a certain mindset, but the important thing for an entrepreneur is to figure out what is the right way to design the business model for his company. So basically, the first box that we are going to discuss is what is called the value proposition, which is why did the 12 or 13 teams think that their product or service was going to be value to the market segment or the customer segment that they were going to sell their product to. So what customer problems were they going to solve, and how are they going to solve the needs better than anybody else with the value proposition? Now, the value proposition can be a whole number of things. They can be quantitative, which is price, speed of service, etc., or it can be qualitative. It can be design, it can be customer experience, it can be ergonomics. If you're selling furniture, it could be a better texture of the fabric. It could be better springs. It could be something where the design is very nice so that when you sit, you get lumbar support and everything. So the values can be all kinds of things. Every company decides which values are important in its opinion for the customer segment. And so some of the elements of this value proposition are new. Everybody likes latest and greatest. So there are car companies that will redesign their car, even though it's very successful in the marketplace, every year or two. So they provide newness. Other companies like BMW and so on will provide performance. A little bit more money, but you pay for your performance. There are other people that provide customization, which means that you buy a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, you can customize it to whatever you want. So while others might say, look, you can depend on us. We provide dependability. And it could also be design or brand. For example, all the fashion companies like Louis Vuitton and Gucci and all of these are providing, the same handbag for 10,000 rupees, where you can buy it, with a no brand for 500 rupees. So you can see that just by putting their logo on it, they make it into a brand or a status thing. Again, I talked about price, where, for some customers, a big chunk of the marketplace, the customer segment is price conscious. So they always say that, hey, we'll give you the lowest price, or we'll give you, lowest price over time. So we'll give you a cost reduction strategy. Or some people will say, we'll give you a risk reduction strategy. You give us your software project and we will guarantee that this project will work within 9 months, or we will take a penalty. So they give you some sort of a risk reduction. Accessibility, convenience, usability, ergonomics, all of these are different parameters that people use in order to figure out, how they can sell their product better than the competition. Okay, so so let me go back here. So you can see that there are many different ways in which you can decide how your product is going to be successful in satisfying the customer's needs. So now what I want you to do is, for exactly 3 minutes, I want each group, the 4, 5, 6 members that you have in each group, to talk to each other. Write down in 3 minutes the top 1, 2, or 3 value propositions that you have for your idea or your company's product or service. So discuss with each other, write it down, then appoint one person as a spokesperson for your idea, and then I'll say, okay, team number 3. So team number 3, the person should stand up, and that person can actually walk to the chair where Shashi or Professor Bhatt was sitting, and then can say, okay, I am, team 2, my name is this, and my project is this, and these are my top 3 value propositions. Okay, so your 3 minutes starts right now. Go.
Yeah, yes, put 3 minutes on. One minute remaining.
Because like they should charges us 1500. Yeah, that would be a
Last 15 seconds, 10 seconds to go.
Okay, so okay,
Guys,
so let's continue on. So team number 4 can come up and talk about introduce themselves, the name of the company, and then talk about what are the 1, 2, or 3 value propositions. So one person from team number 4 needs to come up and talk about it, and then the rest of the class
yeah,
uh, needs to think about what is, whether they like the value proposition or not. And I'd like to have at least 1 or 2 people comment about it. Go ahead. One person
so
can sit down and talk about it.
maybe Raj, one suggestion.
Yeah.
We are asking the spokesperson to uh, talk about their value proposition and the name of the company. But for a lot many people, it might be a good idea if they talk about their what that company does in 2 minutes also, just to make the context clear.
Yeah. Maybe just 1 or 2 sentences about the company. Absolutely. Yeah.
So basically, you should talk about your name of the company, what your company does in just 2 sentences, and then talk about the value propositions. Okay. So maybe you can sit here. Yeah.
Uh, I'm Shaman Gamarachi, and my company name is good afternoon, sir. Good evening. And my company name is eBonda. My company name is eBonda. What we do is we actually recycle electronics or e-waste product, which we talked last time.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Raj,
Yes.
just hold on for a second, because maybe you are able to hear their pitch, but the students are not able to hear his speech. So
Oh, that's
we are,
important.
yeah. So we are giving a microphone to him. Just wait for a
Okay.
second.
Okay.
Hello. Are you able to hear? Yeah.
You can talk on this. Whichever is I could listen. आप ऐसे करो.
Just say hello. Hello. Hello.
हाथ में पकड़ो, हाथ में.
Hello.
Are you able to hear?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Actually, our company name is eWonder, and we basically develop electronic items, and also we are recycling like e-waste. Our main focus is in e-waste, so we collect wastage electronics from people and we recycle it, and we develop new products. And also, not only that, we manufacture new product as well, like not only e-waste, we bring chips, we bring all the boards, everything, and we develop new electronic items. So this is our company basically. And what is the impact, like what customer gets is e-waste is actually undesired, because e-waste can cause many diseases as well. So that is a good thing for customer, as well as when we develop electronic new items with e-waste stage, that will the output will be, the cost of the product will be cheap. So that is a good thing for the customer. They can buy products for cheap price. And also the new products we manufacture inside India, and we are manufacturing it. That also we are trying our best to product it as like simple as possible, so then people can buy it for very cheap price, and that will be, and the end of the day it will be a good product. So that is our thing.
Okay. So I would say that I'd like to have the class kind of the students in the class can maybe give their opinion on the value proposition. The two value propositions that I saw was, one is you will bring the cost down because your raw material cost is very low. And number two is you will provide made in India. So it kind of, appeals to the patriotic attitude of Indians, right?
Yes, sir.
Because it'll provide jobs in India and so on, right?
Yes, sir.
Are those the two value propositions?
I didn't hear you.
Were these two value propositions?
Yes, sir.
Other than
No, this is actually what we thought so far.
Okay, two value propositions.
So Raj, what I will do is I will give this mic to any of these students in the class who wants to speak, so that you will be able to hear also. So anybody who wants to comment on value proposition, want to counter, want to add, what they should be doing, or what is not right, or because the value proposition is not very articulated. I mean, it's a little vague, or it can be more specific.
I think one point can be added that e-waste generation is a problem for a lot of organizations. So they can specifically target, and there is some partnership kind of thing with the different organizations, so that the raw material input will be fixed and they will be reassured about it.
Any other comments?
I believe that there is a variety of recyclable waste that is out there. I mean, shouldn't you be more specific about what kind of exactly, like what recyclable waste would you be interested in, at least initially? I mean, you can't just take in all the waste and recycle it at the same time. It could be plastic waste, it could be any other electronic waste. Yeah, I'm getting it, but even electronic waste, it could be any particular kind of waste, right? Like silicone waste, or maybe there are different kind of waste that are there in that also.
pass on the mic.
I just wanted to answer. Okay, I just wanted to answer what was. The company is basically. The company is basically to understand what are the important things which can be done with e-waste. It is not about developing a single product. Okay. First of all, the main motto of the company is to understand the e-waste present in the society and what is the value which can be added using the e-waste. So the basic key point of the company is to analyze the e-waste first, and then understanding what can be done with the e-waste.
Yeah. So let me give some comments. So basically, like, I think e-waste is definitely addressing a very important problem in society, because everybody basically, changes the electronics and all the products every 3 years, 4 years. So there's tremendous amount of waste that is going on, and recycling is definitely a massive industry all over. So if you look at one of the biggest industries in Gujarat is actually recycling ships. So entire ships get cut down into the metals and the wires and everything else, and then it becomes that has now become one of the biggest industries for Gujarat, and lots of entrepreneurs have made very good businesses out of it, and it's also solved a very big problem for people who had ships that were getting old, and they did not want to, they did not know what to do with the ship. So basically, like, recycling is a very important market segment. And obviously, as one of the questions that was raised, identifying the specific products and industries is going to be important. But right now, at this stage, it's okay to have generic value propositions. So your generic value propositions are societal benefits, which is recycling, reducing the carbon footprint. So the carbon footprint for companies that make TVs like Sony and others goes down if that TV, after when it's finished its live usage, is again reused. All the components are reused by somebody else, right? The screen, the glass, everything else. Imagine if the glass from all these flat screen TVs can be shipped to that Chinese entrepreneur in China, and she can now cut those TV screen glasses and polish them and make them into cell phone glass. Imagine the value and the reduction in footprint. So overall, it's a very good market segment to be in. I think it's definitely a growth market segment, because the amount of waste, e-waste, is going up exponentially in the world. Everybody is becoming very sensitive about how much mining and everything we have to do in order to get material out of the ground. It would be much better if we can reuse the products that are already out there by recycling them, right? So very good value propositions. You should add recycling, societal benefits, carbon footprint, and all of those things. But that's how you think about your value propositions, and then figure out as you go deeper into developing your your company as to which products, which customers, and we'll be coming to that in the next few minutes. Okay, thank you very much. Good. So let's have team number 6 come over and talk a little bit, so that I hope the class understood a little bit about what value proposition is all about for this e-waste company.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. My company name is Buzz. Basically, it's an online platform for organizing small-scale events. So we'll be actually organizing the events like birthday parties or some placement parties, whatever all the college students do. My valued propositions include it should be customer friendly. Basically, whenever we are searching for a restaurant or some place to go, we have to go through various sites and see. So I'll try to make it customer friendly. In minimum number of clicks, it should be able to give you the best results. Second would be the range of options. It'll be including all type of first we have to see the number of people who are going to be there in the party. So that much space should be available. What options do they need? Like do they need a dance floor? What kind of food they want? What is what is their budget? So all that things we'll be including. Third, we want to give them accurate information because whenever we go for a site, it's generally they have given on the specification for two persons, and whatever they provide us, it's generally less or more than that. So we'll be giving them the accurate budget and the accurate location and everything. We'll also be giving them genuine reviews, like from people who have already used our platform and from other sites also. Like we'll be researching on it and telling them how actually the place is.
Okay, let me interrupt for a second. So it's very important when you define your value proposition to not go into the specifics of the product itself. There'll be a time for that. We'll do that at some other point in the BMC. But right now, you should be focusing on, okay, this is the objective of the company or the vision of the company to provide, for help people have fun or successful small events, right? So something like that can be your mission statement. But then your prioritized value proposition, number one can be convenience, because at one place you provide all the information for matching the needs of the customer for that event to the one that is going to be done. Convenience might be one. Second one might be maybe you want to provide creativity. A lot of people cannot figure out how to make a birthday party exciting, how to make a company event interesting or productive. So you can provide some creativity because you will become experienced and in that, right? So you can provide creativity in the way as a value proposition. Third thing you can provide is some cost advantages, because you can do volume negotiation with the different venues for that thing. And so think of what specific unique things, features will become the values of your company. Okay. Any other questions? Any other comments from the class?
Anybody wants to add, comment? Or everybody's busy in their own stuff?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's okay. But I think we got a good point across, which is that the value should be generic, right? The value proposition should be generic for a particular, for your company or your business model. Okay, let's do one last one. Let's get team number 9.
Team number 9.
Good evening, everyone. And sir, my name is Ranjit Yadav. My company name is Get Your Tutor. So basically, we are providing an online platform for the teachers and students both where the students can register a tutor and the teachers can tell them subjects they can teach or services they can provide. Basically, our value of proposition is basically it will be less cost as compared to others tutors, and it will be easily provide a private tutor to everyone, and every teacher will be having a different time slots, so it will be a time convenience for the students. And basically, young generation students like us, we have completed our BTech or still not got a job. They can also teach students. They can also teach students in the subjects they are mastered. So it will be creating employment opportunities also.
Okay, so somebody from the class wants to summarize the top three parameters in terms of the value proposition for this teacher for this tutoring company.
Anybody other than these schemes? Top three. Top three value propositions for this concept. Whatever you talk, is talk about food.
I think anyone can teach here, even I have.
There will be procedure in which you qualify if you are able to teach the subject or not. Only those. So right now I am telling my value of proposition. So there will be procedure in which I will be able to teach that if you can teach or not. Able to decide.
So talk about the top three. Somebody has to summarize.
Somebody has to summarize top three value propositions for this concept.
Actually, I want to comment about his whatever other comment he said. You said anyone can teach it, but that is not the point. Like, if this is an online platform and you can upload as much as videos you want. So whoever the student teaching, like learning, whoever the student learning, they can see. Okay, if you are the video is in you can see okay, how he's teaching. Did you understand it properly? So like that, they can select which one is good. So that is actually a good thing. You can't get that point to anyone can teach that. That is what I wanted to say actually. Thank you.
Basically, what he was trying to do is that the teachers upload their videos and then students get to see those videos and then
It would be a live platform.
what he's trying to come from. He's trying to come in
That should not
that videos of the lectures and teachers on the offline side can view the different lectures, how they're delivering, how the concept they're explaining. And depending upon that, the online slots can be booked by the teacher. That's what is coming. The students will pick up the particular teacher if they really like him. Anybody who wants to, again, it's a real thing. That's all. So that's the value proposition. One. That is what it's talking about.
Okay, so let me summarize. Unless is somebody going to try. Okay, let me summarize. To me, like, okay.
1 minute.
Instead of just booking the slots as required for the student, it will be more convenient if there is a mutual understanding between teacher and student. Like this websites and websites like that. There is a buyer and a customer on the same platform, and everything is up to them, up to the buyer and customer. So it will be successful if you just generate a platform from which they can communicate with each other and come up with an idea from which the student can understand and teacher is also convenient.
Okay. Just one more.
Okay.
I would like to add one value proposition that you can give is that you can upload lectures on different languages apart from English, like in Marathi or in Hindi, so that different people from different regions they will be able to connect with your website.
Okay, so to summarize, clearly, like, online tutoring is a fast-growing market. Now, India's got a lot of math and technically qualified teachers and professors, and there's a shortage of teachers and professors for technical products like math in the US. There's a big shortage of math and science teachers in the US. So this has now become already a very big market opportunity for many online tutoring startups. So clearly there is a market need for online tutoring, and the main benefits that come across are: number one is access to personalized teaching, dedicated personalized teaching. So having access to the thing that you want to be taught, and being able to access that one teacher who knows everything about that subject is a very important value function that you online tutoring system can provide, because you have access to so many thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands or lakhs of potential teachers, right? So that's access is number one. Number two is, of course, convenience. It can be done, anytime, anywhere. You can do it on your smartphone. You can do it on your PC. You can do it in your classroom. There are many ways to deliver the teachings. And for example, this particular class itself is an example of, me teaching from IIT Bombay, right? So basically, like, it's an example of online teaching. So obviously in a slightly different way, but the very fact that, I think it's becoming effective means that there is a huge value to it, because look at the amount of cost and effort it would take to get somebody who's experienced to come all the way to Nagpur for 2 days, versus I can now teach at IIT Bombay, and I can also teach at VNIT at the same time. So that's number two, which is so the first one is access, second one is um, convenience, and then there might be a cost benefit also for getting that particular online tutoring. So you can see that, by classifying your value proposition into, these kinds of categories, you can now, apply your product and service in a more generic way, right? You're not stuck doing it only one way and only one market segment in a dedicated. You don't have a dedicated company. You have a company that has the ability to scale and pivot to address different opportunities as they're going to develop in the online tutoring and teaching marketplace. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so I think we've got a fairly good, hopefully a good understanding of how value proposition needs to be identified for your specific company. And so let's get on to the next slide. So the next slide is we'll go to the customer segment. So the customer segment really defines.
Can you make it full screen?
Yeah, I made it full screen.
And yeah.
Got it? Okay. So the customer segment defines who is the customer that is right. Yeah.
Raj, can you just make it as a slideshow over there?
Okay.
Because
okay, instead of full screen.
No,
Okay.
get the slideshow. We are not able to see the
Something
presentation
like
mode
this.
of the.
Okay, hang on.
I mean, just press the F5 for the presentation mode, slideshow.
Yeah, I was in presentation mode. I don't know why. What were you getting?
Oh, no, we were just seeing the inside the view of the PPT, not the slideshow. Complete
Okay.
software byte.
Okay, I thought I made it that, but let's go to that again.
Okay.
Do you see the full screen now?
No, Raj, we are able to see the full screen, but maybe if you the presentation mode, it's not coming here. We are getting your complete computer screen, not the slide full screen.
I think that is the only way. Sorry. Is it difficult to read?
I think back, it is a little bit back you will be able to see. Screen
Okay, just a minute. Oh, you're getting the. Hang on, let's see this one.
I mean, what happens if you press F5 on the slideshow there?
Yeah, I am hitting the slideshow there.
Here it is.
Now we are back to the screen and the camera, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have a presentation way. They can only share the whole desktop screen. Okay, let me try one more thing.
Okay. Yeah, this is much better.
Much better? Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, so basically customer segment. So the temptation is to try and say that my product can be used by everybody. But you'll find that when you try to sell something to everybody, it is hard to, make anybody happy. And only happy customers are going to buy your product. So basically the goal for an entrepreneur is to actually divide up the target customers into the smallest customer segment with a very specific need. Okay, and because then you'll be able to satisfy that customer very, very well. For example, in the case of the tutoring thing, if that tutoring company had decided to provide, courses on all the subjects for all the students, whether it's kindergarten students, high school students, college students, or even adults, they would find that, they would have to do so many courses and so many different kinds of teachers that the quality as well as the ability for people to find what they want is going to be very difficult. So you'll see that the most successful companies in the online tutoring business actually targeted students who needed to understand math, and they connected them up with math teachers from India. So not the people who teach English, geography, history, or any chemistry or physics, but only math, because math was one area that US is very weak in terms of teaching, because there's a very big shortage of math teachers in the US. So you'll see that that the online tutoring company needs to target a customer segment that is ready to buy, that has a strong need, that is sees enough value in the offering that they're willing to pay good money, more than what it's going to cost you to deliver the service. So customer segments has to be customers who are ready to buy, customers who who have a strong need, customers who have got money to pay. So all of this, and customers who you can reach. Even getting to the customer sometimes might be very difficult. If you want to provide products to, say, customers sitting in, Eskimos sitting in near Alaska or the North Pole, very expensive to get whatever product you have, no matter how much money they want to spend. So you have to find customer segments that are targetable, customer segments that have a need, customer segments that are willing to buy the product right now, customer segments that are willing to pay good money. So you have to define that customer segment. Now, there are many different kinds of customer segments. You can have mass market, you can have a niche market. So when I describe the math tutoring market, that's a niche market. It can be segmented, where you can have car companies segment their customers into, kind of first car buyer, couples buying the second or third car, couples who are older couples. So you can segment the market because everybody needs a car, but you segment the market because you can provide a car that is exactly fits the needs of the young people. Or you can find cars that exactly meet the needs of old people. Or you can find cars that can be a luxury second car. So basically you can segment the market so that for each market you can provide an optimum product. You can have a diversified market where you can have a product that addresses many different market segments simultaneously by having features for everybody. So it can be a diversified market segment. It can be multi-sided market segment. So I'd like you to actually research what I mean by multi-sided market segments by Googling it and then reading up some articles and books. Anyway, so many different kinds of market segments. So again, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to go ahead and discuss within your groups what are the customer segments your company is going to target. Okay, so 3 minutes starts right now.
Guys, 3 seconds to 1.
Okay. 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 So let's have maybe team one come and talk about their customer segments. Again, do the same thing, which is introduce yourself, introduce your company with 1 sentence or 2 sentences, and then go ahead and give me the 1, 2, or 3 market segments.
Good evening, everyone. The project that we're usually working on is of virtual library, and the target customer segments that we are having would be the college students. That would be further divided into 2 parts, such as the ones that need academic related books as well as the novels. So on academic related books, there would be many segments such as the people who need engineering books or medical books or commerce books or arts books, depending on the branches that they are in. Whereas for novels, there would be segments that would be needing fiction, non-fiction, thriller, etc. So we could divide the market that we have. We could divide the market that we are aiming into 2 parts: the college students as well as the self-help groups. They could be considered. They could be consisting of people who are middle-aged people and who have either just started reading the novels or they are very fond of novels and who have a great collection of novels which they are willing to lend it to different people. And while interaction with these two will help us in also, as well as help us in aiming the customer satisfaction as well.
Okay, so I saw 2 segments. One is segments who are focused on academics, and I would say that you're going for a segmented market in the sense that you have segmented for engineering, medicine, social arts or whatever. So the thing that you have to think about is, why would each of these segments be interested in using your service, right? So you've defined your service as being a virtual library, right? So,
yes, sir.
So what is it that makes these segments that you identify? One is for just reading entertainment books, and the other one is for academic books. Why would each of these segments be interested in the value proposition of virtual library?
So since these are mostly the college-going students, that's why many of them we just use the academics for books for like about a sem. So for the rest of the whole our college life, those books we don't use usually. So we can lend out. So the college students could lend out these books to other people who are in different colleges via this platform of virtual library. And as for the novels, once we have completed reading one novel or 2 novels, we don't usually, in sequence read the same novel again and again. So that will also give the variety of different novels for different students all over the world, all over India.
Okay, so in the in the US, there is actually the concept of something called books go around. So there's actually stores which are called books go around. So as soon as you finish reading your fiction book or whatever, you basically hand it over to the books go round, and they will give you either a credit or they will let you borrow one more book against it. So, you have to think of, why somebody will use your service. Why that maybe, it could be that, your college has got certain number of books, the other college has got different set of books. But you have to think of what problem is the reason that stimulates the customer segment that you're targeting to take advantage of your value proposition. So I think that really needs to be worked on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let's have team number 5.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, guys. So my name is Arjun. So the company is called Imagica. Well, I'm not really fond of paying interior designers vast amounts of money, so we decided to Uberize it. So here's how we propose to do it. Um, we want interior designing to be something that's crowdsourced. I believe that there are tons of people out there in the real world who are really good at designing. They're probably not certified to go ahead and do it, but they have a very good fashion sense. They probably know how the colors stick and how things mix and match. And I guess that's
Okay, so I don't want. I think you explained all that when you promoted the idea previously. So I want you to go and think of, specific words that will be your value proposition that will appeal to which customer segment.
Right.
Will it appeal to the rich, the poor, middle class, young couples, whatever. But you need to identify customer segments that will be interested in your service.
Right. So basically, what we thought of was it could definitely be a huge market. There could be a mass market for this because the customers, they're not really it's applicable for absolutely everyone. Since it's crowdsourced, there is no geographical barriers. So someone in the US, a designer in India, or people in India could design something for a person in the US, or vice versa. So absolutely everyone in the world could use it. So I guess it appeals to absolutely everyone.
Okay, so generally, like companies that provide a product for everyone don't succeed very well. So we want to go and have you provide something for the smallest market segment that you can think of. It should, because it can be people that have just bought a new flat. So that becomes a market segment.
Right, sir. So the users could be anyone who is dealing in real estate, has bought a new flat or an office space, or
No, that is a very small segment, guys. How many people buy a flat in a city? Just a minute. But I'm busy. Bye. Yeah, go ahead.
Billions of dollars in the sense that people are always buying new property every single day. So it could be something, it need not necessarily be someone who's buying new property, it could be someone who's interested in remodeling. So the app itself becomes popular. People would be interested in that, in remodeling, in by keeping considerations, the cost and aspects like that. So we were actually thinking that we could go to it's almost as if people have actually gone ahead and got the people who might be interested in something like this in one room. Architecture colleges, interior designing colleges. These are definitely people who could pursue this as a hobby, who might be interested in getting into this as a hobby, as a passion. They could just come back home, kick back and log in and do something like this. So we have different ways of making money.
So I would say that, first of all, clearly, you got to find the customer segment that is ready to buy or use your services. You also have to find the people who are going to provide the services. It cannot be, I suppose anybody can do home design, but you'll end up with so much trash that people are just going to say this doesn't make sense. So you've got to come up with a way to prioritize whose offerings or whose designs are put there. So you've got to have a curative solution. You've got to curate the quality of suggestions that come in, right? You got to curate, you know, you got to really target the people that are going to take advantage of this. You know, it's going to be, see, people will have a certain budget. People may decide that, you know, there are a lot of people that, you know, don't have the money to keep designing. So you have to figure out what is the hottest market segment or customer segment you will target first. Because I want you to prioritize your customer segments by one that is most likely to use as the top segment. Because unless you're successful with this top segment, you don't want to waste your time trying to develop a solution for everybody. So find one segment and define it as, okay, this segment is going to be, you know, my first target segment, because it's the ready to buy, they have the money to buy, they need to furnish in 2 months or 1 month. So there is a pressure to get it done. They have a budget, you know, so you have to find those people first, and you're going to put them into a market segment, because, and then you're going to, because only when you do that, you'll be able to figure out how to reach them. You know, you can't reach the whole world. You have to reach the segment that is most ready to buy, and that has got the money and the need and the time pressure to buy right now, right? So that's how you define the customer segments that are important for you. Did the class understand what I'm trying to get at?
So Raj, just for the class, I did. This is a very classical case. It's a very classical pitch. Many times you get. The founder feels that his idea is good and it could be applied to anybody in the market. And they're very passionate about it. And any direction they think, they feel he's a customer. He could be customer. He also could be customer.
No, sure, sir. No, I completely understand.
The point where Raj is coming in is to identify where there is a burning need.
Exactly.
It's a difference between a need and want. Want is something, you know, a burning need. Need could be, I want a TV. I want like 23 inch TV. Want could be 56 inch. But what is the burning need? Need is the TV, right? Now for him, which are the people who have a burning need to buy his service? If there is a rich guy, $10 million house, he will go for a classy stuff. He won't need his services. I mean, he could use. But is he an ideal customer for him to go after?
No.
That's what Raj is trying to come in. Try to find out the customers who have the burning need, who could buy your service.
Middle class, like people who cannot afford fancy design.
Yeah, that's what
like me.
That's what he's saying. Newlywed couples, people have moved in, people don't have too much of budget, they have exhausted their budget. There is a time pressure, right? Because the charges are like 10%, 15%. I just want to do it in 2%. Somebody is ready to do it in 2%. I can get it from crowdsource. I mean, those are the kind of things he's asking you to focus on the very, very specific. And that's where he's talking about the segment of this. It's a very classic. I mean, there's nothing wrong in that. Okay, Raj, over to you.
Yeah, it's okay. So let's. So I think Shashi summarized it very clearly, that the important thing when you define your customer segment, and this is a very common problem for all entrepreneurs, because they love their product so much, they love what they're doing so much, that they think that everybody is going to buy it tomorrow. And then when they start selling it or promoting it, they find that not even one customer is ready to show interest in the product that they've come up with. So this is a very classic thing, and the important thing is that if you do something good, there is a market for it. But the hard thing is to figure out who that customer is, where is that market, and how you're going to reach that customer in a cost-effective fashion, right? You don't have to, you cannot afford to advertise like you know, Coca-Cola and so on, because you don't have the budget to advertise to everybody on TV and so on. So the challenge for an entrepreneur is to cleverly reach the customer segment, and to cleverly reach the customer segment, you need to have a lot of clarity on customers with a burning need. And that's why I want you, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I had a question, sir. We get the design. I think people use it, but nobody really wants it. In the sense that there are a lot of people who log on and they do the designing on not necessarily on models that people have uploaded, but something that the company itself has put online. And we could get these designs, and this intellectual property could we sell that? We could act as a talent agency, and we could be on the back end of things. We see who's doing a good job, and so we could acquire these people and then provide designing solutions. And my teammate, he suggested that when we actually become, something, if we actually ever get there, and once you get a final design, it could also become a contracting company, since you can actually go ahead and get that exactly room for.
So very good thinking, because essentially you'll find that, as you get into the business, you'll find that maybe the real money is going to come from something else. So you have to always be open to pivoting the company to maximize the return, and where it's good, and depending on where it's going to come from. So this is something that happens to a lot of startups, which is they start off in one direction, they end up with a solution, a business somewhere else, right? So you have to be, open to that, and Facebook does a lot of social networking, but guess what? Ultimately, the money comes from advertising. So they are now, whenever Mark Zuckerberg goes ahead and puts a feature in there, he's always thinking, can I put more advertising? Can I do video advertising? So he's always thinking as to how to generate revenue, because he's already got his billion people who's already using it 1 or 2 hours a day. But if he cannot grow his revenue, then his company's valuation will start dropping. And then, the downwards cycle will start. So companies have got no option but to, grow or perish, right? So basically, when you come up with your customer segment, the first thing is to do what Shashi said, which is find the customer segment with a burning need, and make it's okay if it's only 100 people in Nagpur, but they have a burning need. Boy, you have a real company. But you have 1,000 people or 10,000 people who will just come to your website and go away in 2 minutes. You have a dead company. Okay, sounds good. Yeah. So let's move on. Shashi, how long do we want to run the class?
8 o'clock is the...
8 o'clock, okay, for the class? Okay, another half an hour. Okay, great.
30 minutes to go.
Okay, so let's move on from customer segments to from customer segments, we'll go on to channels, because channels is how a company gets a product to the customer. And the channel can be a communication channel, a distribution channel, or a sales channel. So when Coca-Cola advertises on TV, it's a communication. They're communicating the information. When basically Lucky Gold Star or Samsung gets you the washer dryer or television, it is through the distribution channel. When basically your product is promoted on one of the e-commerce channels, it becomes the sales channel. Or if you have a salesman, like a medical rep, who goes from doctor to doctor promoting his new medicine, so that's a sales channel. So again, the sales channel can be your own. You can get a partner, you can do a direct, or you can do an indirect. So, and then you can sell using real people. That's the real sales force in every town and city of Maharashtra. And then India, you have an office, you got your sales manager, your district manager, you got your technical assistant. So that becomes like a sales force. You can have a web sales where you just provide a website on your own site. On Amazon, you can put your web in order to get web sales. You can have your own stores where Apple now has Apple stores, or you can have just a minute. Kala, I'm busy till 8 o'clock. No, you send the card. I'll wait. Bye. Bye. So you can have a wholesaler, distributor, all kinds of different ways to get your product out there. But every channel, remember, has to do 5 things. They have to create awareness for your product. They've got to give customers the opportunity to evaluate your product. Then they've got to do the actual transaction, which is purchasing. They've got to get the delivery of the product, and then they've got to get, after sales service, customer support, how to use the product, how to do all of that. So the channel is the way your product gets from your company to the customer segment that you've targeted. Now, a customer relationship that you have is also going to be very different. And the customer relationship has got 3 elements to it. One is to acquire the customer. Second is to retain the customer. And third is to boost sales by upselling to the customers. So you have your customer relationship in order to do these 3 things. For example, a stock brokerage firm has got, so their job is to do customer acquisition, which is find more people, the next person or more customers who have got money to invest. So they are continuously asking, hey, do you have any friends who recently made a lot of money? Or do you have friends that need to start buying stocks? So customer acquisition is what a broker is going to do. Then he has to do customer retention. If he gets you as a customer, but then he loses you to a competing broker, then all the hard work done to acquire a customer is lost because the customer has gone to the other broker. So customer retention, by providing all kinds of loyalty programs as airlines do, or providing good service, or really becoming friendly with the customer, so becoming almost like an extended family. So customer retention is another very important element of a customer relationship. And the third one is you got to keep selling. Only if your customer buys will you get sales. So you got to continuously sell. So your broker calls you up and says, Reliance is going to take off next year because they've had very good oil discovery in the Visakhapatnam basin. So let's buy their stock right now because a year from now, they're going to generate a lot of oil and gas. So they generate upselling by getting you to buy, more stocks, different stocks, and things like that. So customer relationship is how the company, which is the stock brokerage firm, for example, generates more business. Now, you can have many different types of customer relationship. You can have personal assistance. So example, Vodafone has offices, has shops everywhere. And whenever somebody who has a problem with their phone, their text messaging does not work. You know, they go there and they get the service person to take a look at their phone. Or you can have personal assistance by calling an online number, and technical support person will help you there. You can have self-service. So these days, instead of going to the bank, we go to the ATM in order to get money. Till about 5 years ago, there were no ATMs, and we all had to go to a bank. In the bank, we got to stand in a queue. In a queue, you waste time. You know, going to the bank, you're going to park your car. I mean, it's so much of a headache. And now, because of ATMs, if I want to deposit a check, or if I want to get money, I do self-service. There are automated services. For example, now Tata Sky allows me to pay off my monthly bill for TV channels by automatically deducting from my debit card. So they provided an automated service, so I don't have to remember every month to pay their bill. Otherwise, they would have to send me notices and send me cutoff notices and all that, and then I'll pay the bill. Or you can have communities that decide to buy as a group. You do group shopping, group advising, all kinds of stuff. Or you do something called co-creation. Again, another word I'd like you to think through and figure out. It's a unique way of having a customer relationship. So co-creation and then multi-sided markets, these are two terms that I would like you to figure out. Okay, so now we are done with the customer side of it. And if you've got great customer relationship and your channel is upselling and you've got the right customer segment that you've targeted, these people are going to be buying a lot of product. The more product they buy, the more revenue you get, and your revenue line starts becoming very healthy. So now we have finished off with the right-hand side, because we are now getting a revenue stream from servicing the customer. And again, the servicing can be two types. You can have servicing which is transaction time revenues, because say we want to buy a TV, we just pay the money when you buy your TV, and it's a one-time customer payment. Or you can have a recurring revenue. So example, when Tata Power gives power to my house, it's a recurring revenue because each month I have to pay Tata Power the money. So you can have a recurring revenue. When there was a time when all CRM software used to be sold on a one-time basis. But now there's a company called Salesforce.com that said, maybe the right model for offering CRM was to have, a SaaS model, software as a service model. So the CRM software is something that people pay for each month based on the number of salespeople using their products. So by changing the business model from license model to SaaS model, they became the leader in the marketplace and they destroyed the competition. So you can see that just by changing how the revenue is collected can actually completely change, and changing the business model by changing the revenue stream can completely change the competitive balance in a company. Again, there are many ways to generate a revenue stream. You can sell your assets, which is what somebody who builds a multi-story building does. He sells flats. So he goes ahead and does asset sale. Or you can have a landlord who rents out the flat. He buys 3 flats and he rents it out and he gives you a usage fee. Or you can have subscription fees. For example, the virtual library people can have subscription fees and say, okay, if you subscribe to my virtual library services, then you can borrow 25 books each month. So you have your subscription fee system. Or you can have lending, renting, leasing system. So you can buy a car, which is an asset sale, or you can rent a car, which is for 1 day, 2 day, 1 month, whatever, or you can lease it for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. So the same product can be sold on an asset sale basis, it can be sold on a renting basis, it can be sold on a leasing basis. And depending on your revenue stream model, it can be a competitive advantage to you. You can have licensing, brokerage fees, advertising model. A lot of new internet businesses are actually based on advertising models. So the model for LinkedIn, the model for Facebook, the model for Google search, the model for Yahoo are all advertising based models. So the more eyeballs, the more usage, the more advertising opportunities are there. Again, pricing mechanisms, you can start off by pricing high and then price low as the market goes from premium to commodity. You can have a fixed price, and you see a lot of shops which say fixed price because they don't want to bother with negotiating. They don't want to bother with salespeople doing deals. They want to know that if I buy a certain product, I can put it in the market. Once it sells, I'll make this much profit. It's a fixed profit, headache free, you know. So that's how they want to go. But if the competition is willing to negotiate and bargain, they might take all the customers away. Somebody says, hey, I want to buy 20 phones for each employee that I have in my company, and can you give me a 10% discount? And you say, no, I'm a fixed price company. You want 20 phones, you have to pay 20 times whatever the price of one phone is. And the guy says, let me go to check the next shop. And the guy says, sure, you want 20? I'm going to sell you at 10% discount. The guy says, great. So he got a phone to each of his employees for 10% cheaper, but so he saved money. The guy who sold him the 20 phones at one shot, made a lot of money at one shot. Even though he made less per product, he made total of a lot of profit, assuming that he had maybe a 20% margin, and he gave away a 10% discount for volume purchase. So you can see that, the first person lost the business completely. He's got zero money in his pocket, but he's got 20 phones in inventory. The other person has shipped out 20 phones, and he's kept 10% of the profit, and the customer is happy because he got 10% discount. So you can see that sometimes you trade off headaches, but you lose the business. So, every business, in some cases, it's good to not have the headache. In some cases, it's good to, make whatever profit you can as quickly as you can by negotiating. So all kinds of business models are used by companies. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. So you have to decide for your business what is the right model, so that you're successful competitively, you're successful in a scalable fashion, you're successful from a cash flow management standpoint. So to be successful on all the parameters that are necessary for your company to succeed. So, and you also have auctions, and now you have real-time markets. You have auctions. So stock market is a real-time market. The price fluctuates every second. The price is fluctuating. When you go to eBay, you have auctions. So there's many people who would love to have the product, but they don't want to pay too much. Some people want it right now, whatever. So all kinds of auctions are there. So you can see that in the revenue stream generation for your company, there are many, 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 many different options. And depending on what strategy you come up with, it'll determine the success of your business. So revenue stream is a very strategic decision that is made by the customer. So moving on to the left-hand side of the business model canvas is, now we are talking of how do we get that product prepared, done. So you have your key resources. These are the assets that make your business model work. They can be owned, they can be leased. So example, you decide that factory is something that you must have because that's how you control your quality, that's how you control your cost. That's how you control your output. So while other cases like Apple, they don't own a single factory, even though they sell close to 200 million phones every year, they don't have a single factory. Everything is outsourced to one or two or more manufacturers who have the factories. So the business model for the manufacturer of Apple, he needs to own the factory. But for Apple, he needs to find manufacturing partners who can make him the best phone for the best price, etc. So you'll see that two companies, same industry. For one company, the factory is important. For the other guy, key partnership and how to do key partnership is more important. So the key resources can be factories, like physical, it can be financial, it can be intellectual. So Apple basically uses its intellectual key resource, people who can design the most beautiful phones, software that is most usable, most friendly, most secure, most reliable. So basically, they're using their intellectual capability in order to maximize the value of the company. And it is the key resource. That's all they care about. Or it can be human. You know, some companies like that woman's company that makes lenses, she needs 75,000 employees who are diligent, hardworking, who are going to work the time that's required for a very good for a very reasonable salary. So the human resource is the fundamental success factor for the woman that is the world's richest woman, right? Which makes all the lenses. So the key resources can be many different things, and it can even be a combination of these categories, and you have to figure out what these key resources are so that you pay a lot of attention to do it right, to see that the resources are good machines, if it's a manufacturing resource, reliably being maintained, and all of those things, right? So these are the key activities that are necessary in order to make your business model work. Clearly, for a manufacturing company that makes, like Foxconn, that makes all the cell phones and that is going to set up a big factory in Nagpur for $5 billion, production is the #1 thing that they do. So they need to have the ability to make a lot of phones, package it quickly, ship it on time, no fault, zero defect, all that stuff. Problem solving. So people like Infosys and TCS, others, they use their brains. Yes?
I think your screen is freezed. I mean, we are not able to see this. I mean, the slide, there is only a customer segment slide. Either we should be seeing the slides or we should be seeing you. Something is
No,
missing.
I'm putting the slides on. Sorry. You're not seeing the slides?
No.
Okay, hang on.
I mean, we only saw the customer segment slide. Beyond that, we didn't see anything.
Oh, you've not seen any of the slides?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. We have disconnected. It says 0 viewers. Your internet is down somewhere. We only have an audio stream. We don't have a video stream.
No, we are able to see you now.
Oh, you're seeing me right now? Okay, I'm going to go back and put the screen share on. Tell me if it works.
Yeah.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah, key activities now we can see.
Oh, you can see key activities now. Okay, let me kind of go back to all the other screens so that I quickly summarize all the screens. So we went through the customer segment, you remember that. Then we went through the value proposition screen. You can see that, right? You can see the value proposition screen?
Yes.
Okay, after that we did the channel screen. So this presentation, by the way, is there on the portal. So everybody should actually download this presentation, and you can use the information on this presentation in order to understand, in order to pick the things that are important for your company, and how you're going to do channels for your company, how you're going to do customer relationship for your company, how you're going to do the revenue for your company in terms of pricing, billing, all that stuff, how you're going to do your key resources, and then how you're going to do your key activities. So can you see the key activities slide, Shashi?
Yes.
Okay. So in the key activities, as we were talking, basically for production companies, it's manufacturing. For problem-solving companies like Infosys, TCS, Wipro, all of them, it is providing software services that will solve, problems inside all the global 2000 companies. For platform companies, so people like Monster.com, Naukri.com, Shadi.com. These are matchmaking platforms. People that provide Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. These are all platforms for social networking. So there are many different kinds of activities that will be done. So if you look at it, if I think about Buzz, B-U-Z-Z, the key activity for you is you're doing problem solving. You're helping people create their event, and you'll have to provide the services that ends up solving the problems. And then we talk about the key partnership block, which is all the people around you in providing the raw material, the components, etc., that'll make your business model work and essentially get you to prepare your product as effectively as possible. So it's optimization and economy of scale. So when Apple outsources to Foxconn, the reason they outsource it is because they don't want to, they already have 25,000 employees, but Foxconn needs to hire 500,000 employees to make the phones for Apple. 500,000 employees. So Apple does not want to be in the business of managing 500,000 people in China, because now they would have to provide the same kind of benefits and salaries to be on par with the kind of benefits and salaries they offer to their employees, and they just can't imagine how they would do it. So economies of scale and all of these things are things that you try to get from your partner. You want to reduce the risk and uncertainty of your business. So, Apple doesn't know whether it's going to sell 200 million cell phones, or it's going to sell 150 million or 250 million. Samsung doesn't know whether it's going to sell 150 million, 200 million, 250 million. But Foxconn, if it makes phones for Apple and Samsung, it knows that every year there's a market demand for 500,000 cell phones, and if they have both of these as their partners, they can put in a big factory. So basically, everybody is getting benefit through the partnership. So if you want to acquire a particular resource or activities, so all of that is something that your key partners can provide. So as I said, for Reliance, if they don't have crude oil, that's, they can have the world's largest petrochemical plant, but, it means nothing. They cannot make any products. So acquisition of a particular resource is something that your partners give you. So moving on to finally the last slide in the business model canvas is the cost structure. So essentially your cost, again, is all the stuff that it takes to provide the infrastructure. And your cost is broken into two categories: fixed cost and variable cost. So your buildings, your machinery, the software engineers and hardware engineers and managers that you've hired, these are all fixed costs. The variable cost is, you know, if your factories are running 24 hours a day, you need so much energy. If your factories are running 8 hours a day, you need 1/3 the energy. So it's a variable cost. The energy consumption, the amount of crude oil that Reliance processes, it's all variable cost. Economies of scale is, you know, the bigger your factory, the lower the cost. Economies of scope, if you're providing product that is that can manufacture from low-end phones to large premium phones. If you provide manufacture all kinds of phones, you can spread your cost across many different devices and reduce your cost. So basically, it all comes down to these 9 building blocks that put the business model canvas together. And so this business model canvas consists of value propositions, which the company offers, the customer segments that are going to benefit from the value proposition, the distribution channel to reach the customer relationship to stimulate the demand and upsell and so on, the revenue stream generated by people loving the value propositions and paying you money for the products and services they buy, the resources needed to make the business model possible, to make everything, the activities to implement the business model, and the partners who are going to help you get this business to work properly, to all come together. So, and then finally, the revenue minus the cost will give you your profit. So basically, you can see how that one little idea that you came up with last weekend is now becoming a business model with all of these 9 different boxes that interact with each other in 1 million or 1 billion or 1 trillion different ways in order that you make a lot of profit that keeps on growing, growing, growing. So the whole idea is to help you figure out how to make your product, your idea into something that makes a lot of money. And so on Sunday, we would like to have all of you prepare a business model canvas similar to this slide. This is one of my project teams that actually won the 2nd prize at IIM Ahmedabad in the business plan competition for 75,000 rupees. And that's the team that these 2 people, these 2 girls, actually won the 2nd prize for 75,000 rupees for their business model canvas at IIM. And, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing many of the people from VNIT start winning these competitions. And of course, becoming great entrepreneurs themselves. So anyway, here is a sample BMC. And we are going to ask questions and probe and check whether you've thought through the value propositions properly, the customer segments properly, the relationships, channels, key activities, key resources, and key partners, how you're going to, what's going to be the cost and what's going to be the revenue for making your business come together. Okay? So, so that's, you know, what we want to basically this is the tool we are going to use in order to figure out you know, how to make sure that your company becomes successful in a sustainable, scalable, repeatable, and profitable way. So the homework for the next 3 days is to prepare, to meet once or twice with your teams and prepare this 1-page BMC, which all teams will present for about 5 to 10 minutes each, and then we will, start discussing, how y'all can go ahead and have something called a validated business model canvas. Is that clear to everybody, Shashi?
Yeah, I think so. On Sunday, tomorrow is
What time do we meet on Sunday?
10 to 12. Because we'll require 55 or 56, 90 minutes only for the presentations of each team. 10 to 12 should be good enough. So Raj, 10 to 12 is fine with you?
Okay, yeah, it's okay with me.
Okay, so let's freeze for 10 to 12.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much. I think this was a pretty good format, right, Shashi?
Yeah, it's a very interesting. I mean, I never thought that this could be interactive to that level. So pretty interesting. There could be little modifications. Maybe we could run the PowerPoint presentation here locally, and you can be seen as talking. Because otherwise, if you are only talking on slides and you are not visible, the engagement factor goes down.
Okay, yeah, we can. That would be a very good way to do it. And maybe you can point the camera towards your slide projector so I can see the slide also. But that's okay. I think we can basically. That's probably the right model to use. Actually, that's good.
Yeah, let's experiment that in the next class. So I think.
Any feedback from the students?
Anything anybody wants to add on for today's class? I think it's a long day for this guys.
Okay. Okay, guys, enjoy Independence Day.
Bye, Raj.
Okay, happy Independence Day. Bye.
Happy. So guys, just hold on for a second.
Yeah, one more thing is that this entire class is now going to be archived on YouTube, so it'll be accessible for you to watch and refresh your memories anytime. Okay, and we will share the URL with you tomorrow. Okay, thank you everybody. Bye.
Bye.